Hello again and welcome to the daily Templar report. Not many folk bring you the stuff daily, we do. And we hope it's entertaining for you and you like it. Obviously, if you keep coming back, you must. Or there's nobody else about. I hope that's not the case. Remember, please, like the video, click subscribe, press the bell and comment below if you don't mind. I know a lot of folk done it the other day. Much appreciated. And people are so kind when they comment. You know, it's a wonderful thing. I was talking to somebody else, no names, no picture, but they're in another quite big organisation. And they said, you know, they have a lot of trouble with their members, a lot of aggravation and all that in America, and, you know, always bitching and backbiting and that. I says, really? But I knew fine well what we're talking about. I says, well, I've been in organisations and political parties and whatnot in the past, and it's been horrific. But the Templars, I have never been amongst such a solid, sensible, grown-up, mature, godly bunch of people. And I mean that. And a lot of people in here have been in these other environments as well, and it's chalk and cheese. So thank you for being you. God bless you all. Right, you're all welcome. I'm going to read a wee bit, and then I'll do a wee bit of shout-outs. If you hear whirling and burling in the background, it's these crypto machines. We've got them in cases now, and it's working to a certain degree. The heat and everything, it's crazy heat, but it's boiling in here, and there's a big noise. But it's making you money if you've got the shares. So good stuff. Right, I'm going to read a wee bit. Where is this? Where is it? Well, here it is. It's Proverbs chapter 21, following on from yesterday. Remember, yesterday we read, every way of man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the heart. Well, verse 3 says this: to do justice and judgment is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. So being just and meting out fairness is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrificing yourself. So, or making sacrifice. And I think that's a wonderful thing, and I think we should remember that. Everything in this world is down to integrity and decency. And if you're a decent person, and you behave decently, even when people don't behave decently with you, that does not give you carte blanche to behave indecently to them. Just treat everybody decently, and if some people don't appreciate it and they're trash, walk away from them, leave them be. But you never stop being decent, and you won't go far wrong in the world. And we know the Lord will add his blessing to this, the public reading of his own infallible, inspired and inerrant word. Amen. And you know, quite a few folk over the last year since we've been doing this a year now, haven't we? Just about a year. We've been in the lockdown for a year. And quite a few folk over the last year have contacted us, nationalists, and said, you know, I really like that show, Jim, but I can't watch it because you're always reading for the Bible and you're always quoting scripture and you're always talking about God. You know, could you just knock it in the head a wee bit and talk about right-wing conservative politics? And I said, no, never. It's the Templars. There's no Tucker Carlson. You know, this is who we are. This is all we are. This is what we're about. So I would use a whole show talking about God and forget anything else, but we have to keep abreast of developments in the world and so on. So this is why we do that as well. Well, let's have a wee look and see who's in the room while I cough. Dear me. I'm sure these machines won't be helping me. They'll be drying me out. I'll have lungs like prunes soon, I know it. Ewan Eggerson, God bless you. Matthew Smith, nice to see you there in Kentucky. Wes Stover, how you doing? Sean Smiley, God bless you in Pittsburgh. Lady Rotha, lovely to see you, Lady Rotha. Gary Hardwick, Gary, how you doing? You know you've been in our thoughts. I hope the Lord is undertaking for you, brother. And I'll catch up with you very shortly and have a... it's always better let the dust settle before you have conversation. You've been through a lot, brother. You've been through a lot. But God bless you. I can't read this name here. What is it?
Bolt Kit Hero.
We're buffering as well, seemingly. Maybe it's me. Do you know, I was totally lost today in Ireland. I was lost in County Monaghan. Hadn't a clue where I was. Sat nav didn't even know where County Monaghan was. I mean, the place I was looking for. Wild. I mean, Ireland is very rural. It really is. And some of the roads aren't even tarmacked. It's crazy stuff. I was down there all day today. Lucky I got back in time. Bolt Hero 246. Jim, could you please do a video on the history of Ireland? Do you think I'm mad? No chance. Because the video would obviously be tainted by my particular viewpoint. Not as tainted as most people's, but it would still be tainted because I am from a certain section of the community. So I see Irish history through one set of eyes and it wouldn't be everybody's. So I think that is the poison chalice. But please try and use your real name because we try and do that here. We're grown-ups. We're frightened of nobody. Nobody. We fear the Lord and only him. I'm frightened of nobody else. So use your own name. What are you frightened of? Don't be worried. Michael McGuffin, how you doing in Ontario there? Ralph Rowley, God bless you. Antonio Rebello, God bless you. Andy, how you doing, Andy? Nice to see you. Another good day. Well, a good day with you. It's pouring the rain here. Jonathan Bedeen, God bless you, sir. Henrik Johansson, John Wilmot, nice to see you. Philip Milne in Scotland, how you doing? Stuart Duncan, darling stuff, lovely. Lady Matriarch, she's a fine woman. Nice to speak to you again. Paul Telford and Sonny Liverpool, brilliant. How you doing? Nice to see you. He's a good brother, that fella. Colette Whitney, God bless you, Colette. You're very nice. Jacob Lewis, what's Colette saying? She's having problems, yeah? I just found out I was unsubscribed again. Good grief, yeah. It's like my Twitter. I've got all these Indian feeds coming through in my Twitter. I never subscribe to any of them. Indian, they're coming through in Urdu. I can't read Urdu. I can hardly read English. Coming through in Urdu. Something very strange going on all the time. Anthony Perez, hello. Give me a Garcia, a good lady. Now hold on, did I see Paul Jarish up there? Paul Jarish, Paul, remember, we're having terrible times getting out of Britain. The government said we're not getting out to June now. We're not allowed to leave the country. We get fined £5,000. So I don't know what's happening. I really don't. Jacob Lewis, Paul Telford, Lady Ruthia, Crusader, UK, Dave Bond. How you doing? Nice to see you. God bless you. Ruan Thorson, nice to see you. It's early evening here, yes. Troy Otto, Florida. He's some man. Templar Garden, Leicester. Clive McAlennan. Nice. That's a new name, I think. Clive McAlennan. You're welcome, Mr. McAlennan. How you doing? Stuart Bowden from Burnley, Henrik Johansson, Brian Payton, and he's in Florida, Bartley Burker, Joshua Parley, nice to see you, Joshua. Iris R. from Belgium, you're more than welcome, my Belgian friend. Thomas Robe, nice to see you. Roberts, I beg your pardon, Thomas Roberts, welcome into the room, sir. George Smith, Bruce Samuelson, Joseph Taylor, was that Crusader? I've seen him, Dominic Hull, how you doing, Dominic? I think William DeChico, how you doing, William? Let me see. Peter Smith, how you doing? I think we've covered everybody there. So, welcome, one and all. That list is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But I see there's some new names in. And if you're not used to the room, we try and use our own names. We're very tight. We don't have any crazy talk up or any of the rest of it. And if we're going to talk about big controversial things, we go over to our own site, which is Purged. Purged.tv. Purged.tv. We're on there. Excuse me, the Irish lads are on there. Sean Ahern. Jada Franson's on there, the British Freedom Party. The English Democrats are on there. And there's a few other folk trying to get on. People are welcome to go on there as long as they're in their kind of same vein, sensible, decent, normal, hard-working patriots, and not anti-Christian. You're more than welcome. If you're some sort of mad racist, or that's all you, or a mad national socialist, Hitler-loving, crazy white power person, no, you're not really. You're not really wanting you there, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's good. Absolutely. So good comments there. Keep commenting. Everybody likes getting in touch with each other. It's good to see. Now we've got some. We've got some interesting stories today from across the world. They're all taken from the BBC. The BBC's a lying bunch, but they're sort of mundane stories. So I don't know what I'm going to bring you for. But I'm going to bring them first, brother. Aye, let's go to America. Because I told you the other day this was happening, but you already knew this was happening. Let's have a wee look. Joe Biden, shouting and bawling. There you go. Can you see that? Joe Biden. Let's not wait another minute to get the guns off people. And he was saying there can be no excuse now for anybody having an assault rifle. Yeah, there is. A despotic government like you, Mr. Biden, trying to steal the hard-won rights and privileges of the populace. That's one reason that the population need guns. That's why they needed guns in the Revolutionary War, sir. Because a British king was trying to stamp the American settlers into the ground. And they had to have guns to resist them. And that's why American people and every people need guns now to resist tyranny. And if you've no guns, you're subject to tyranny and you're no better than a slave. We know all about it in Europe because that's the position we're in. So we knew that this would happen. Now in Scotland a few years ago, 20 years ago I think, 30 years ago this last week, it affected my life, dramatically. That's one of the things that brought me back to the faith, was the Dunblane massacre. When I think about 15 or something, small kids were massacred, shot to death in a school in Dunblane, Scotland by a crazed guy who was Rainbow Guy, if you know what I mean. And what the government done was they took all the licensed guns off all the decent, responsible people. to stop it. Has it stopped gun crime in Scotland? Not a bit yet, because criminals, I don't know if you know this, but when a law comes out saying you've got to hand in your guns, criminals who don't have a licence for the guns anyway, don't hand them in. That's the way it works. And it'll be the same in America. So the only people who have guns are those guys in the ghetto and in the hoods. They'll have guns, but nobody else will. This is a great idea, eh? Wonderful. But that's what they're going to be doing. So they're coming after your guns. We all knew this. The Templars have been saying it for years. They will come after your guns. And be careful you don't get drawn into hothead reactionary stuff. Because a lot of right-wing people, they're very childlike. I'm trying to put this in, you know I'm not a very diplomatic person, you know that, but I'm trying to put it in a way that I don't insult people. I don't think I can. A lot of our own people, good people, are just stupid when it comes to strategy. They just haven't a clue. I'll give you a very good example. There's a bill going through Parliament at the moment, or however it's done now, because there is no Parliament, basically saying this, that if you unlawfully have a gathering, like a protest or a demo, with no violence, nothing like that, just an unlawful demonstration in their opinion, demonstrating for your rights or the lockdown end or anything, it could be anything, it could be for Flower Growers Association, you can be punished with 10 years in prison in Britain. Yep. I mean, any sensible patriot thinks, my goodness, this is draconian, this is trying to steal our rights away from us. And you've got to understand what rights are. Rights are privileges, and privileges are given if you obey the rules. Well, we have obeyed the rules, we pay our tax, and we should be allowed to demonstrate and protest, not to face 10 years in prison. Anyway, who are the people pushing this at the moment all over social media? Right-wing people. Because, tactically, they're stupid. And why are they doing it? Because they've seen the lefties out wrecking the police station in Bristol the other day and saying, we must have this police bill, give 10 years in the jail. Do you honestly think the police will give Antifa 10 years in jail? Do you honestly think they'll give Black Lives Matter 10 years in jail? No. Any patriot waving the national flag and singing the national anthem and praising God, they're the people who'll get 10 years in jail. But this is how silly sometimes the right wing are. And a few years ago, I questioned a lot of people who were Tommy Robinson's fans and alt-right fans and all these. And I said to them, why do you support this? And they said, because we're against Islam. I said, okay, I get it. Okay. Yeah, I've just seen a guy who refused to wear a mask at 6 months. You know, it's just unbelievable. And then in the same paper that day, a paedophile who was caught, was given a suspended sentence. So a guy who wouldn't wear a mask, 6 months. A paedophile touching kids got a suspended sentence. That's where we are in Britain. That's where you're going in America. But anyway, I said to this guy, okay, opposing Islam, I get it, it's a valid political point. I said, but why? Why do you oppose Islam? He says, well, they're anti-LGBT, they're anti-abortion, they're anti-women's rights, they're anti-feminist. I says, hold on a minute. I'm anti all these things. What? But I thought you were a patriot. I thought you were for liberty and free speech. I says, you're a libertarian, you're a libertine, you're from the French Revolution, that ain't me. And we have to be very, very careful that just because you're enemy against something doesn't mean to say we should be for it. It's like Northern Ireland here. In Northern Ireland, in Belfast, in the Catholic areas, they fly the Palestinian flag because they all support the Palestinian struggle, right on, lefty, commie stuff. So the Protestants, who are not at all political, they have no idea about politics, the Protestants, they fly an Israeli flag because they love Israel. No, because they know that it annoys the hell out of the other side. And that's what they do. We've got peace walls in Belfast which keep the Catholics and Protestants apart. So the Catholics put up the Palestinian flag and the Protestants immediately put up the Israeli flag. And I remember saying to guys one day who were putting up the Israeli flag, why are you putting that flag up there for? And they went, it annoys them. I said, you know what flag that is? No, but it annoys them. This is how crazy right-wing reactionaries can get. So we need to be very, very careful that we don't get drawn into such silliness. Right, we'll have another wee story and see where we are. Let's see. What's this? Yeah, exactly. Gary Hardwick. Oh, Gary, we done it here. It was done in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. The Kennedys and the Americans were supplying the IRA with modern, sophisticated weaponry, and the Unionists, the Protestant population, didn't have access to that. So the Protestants were very ingenious, started setting up machine shops and just making simple weapons, but it worked. So, you know, that'll happen. Of course it'll happen. You can't keep people down. It's as simple as that. So, yeah, let's have a look at, right, brace yourselves, folks. Brace yourself. Because Not only is there a mutant virus, the drum roll, do, there's a double mutant virus. Look, shake in terror you may. There's a double mutant virus coming from India. Oh, I don't know if India is worse than China. Us Brits quite like India because it was the Raj for several hundred years, so we've got quite an affinity with India. In fact, somebody said to me the other day, come and see this. Some reporter was in the slums of Calcutta, some hideous hellhole in India, and they were saying, you know, what do you think of the colonial period and the British here were in here lording it over you, and, you know, should they pay reparations for the pain the Indian people went through? And this wee old man got up and said, God bless Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, please come back. He said that in the show. Oh no, cannabis. And everybody they asked, they said, oh, we miss the British. Oh yes, we love the British, we love the Queen. But anyway, so I like India. But I might have to change my mind, because allegedly there's a double mutant coronavirus. So we've had the Kung flu. Now we're getting the, I don't know what you call this, I don't know what the Indian equivalent would be. It's coming. Double mutant version. What's that going to do is? What's that going to do is? Double mutant version. Don't know. Sounds bad, doesn't it? That sounds bad. Indian double mutant virus of coronavirus. The Raj resurgence or Gandhi's revenge. Gandhi's revenge, aye. That's normally for when the bowels go and you've been eating Indian food. But aye, we're getting a double mutant version. I mean, they don't stop, do they? We're just trying to get out of lockdown. They went, you can't get out of lockdown because, there's a double mutant coronavirus coming. So what? But this is what they're doing. And people in Britain are going, a double mutant virus. A double mutant. What's a single mutant? What is it? Every virus, if any's know anything about epidemiology or any of these things, whatever it is, viruses mutate constantly. They're in a constant state of mutation. That's what they do. That's why every year you've got to get a different flu jag. And they take a sort of gamble what one it's going to be, because even the flu, every virus mutates constantly. That's what they do. So a double mutant virus, nothing but stuff and nonsense to frighten silly women and small children. And most of the male population these days, who are even more ridiculous than silly women. So that's it. Scaremongering, fear-mongering. But let me tell you, Ruan Thorson, I am not frightened of the Indian double mutant virus of the corona. Not in the slightest. Bring it on. I'll have it. Bring it on. So there we go. Now, it's never ending, Stuart. It's never ending. It's nonsense. It's complete nonsense. It's never ending. Next, we're going to have a quadruple mutant virus from Mongolia. We're going to have all these different things. Where's a scary place in the world? Let's think. India's quite scary. Well, Mongolia's even scarier. It'll be the Amazon. There'll be something about the Amazon next, because that's quite scary, isn't it? Or the Congo. The Congo. We'll have a multiple mutant virus for the Congo, which has also got a touch of the Ebola in it as well. We'll have all that. Kazakhstan, aye. We'll have the Kazakhstan strain. Anyway, Stan in it's got to be scary, innit? So we'll have that. Yep, we'll have that. It's crazy. Borat will be on warning us soon. Don't worry about it. It's nuts. It's all nuts. Okay. Exactly. It's crazy. Syria. The Syrian virus. Borat virus. Borat virus. That's it. But anyway, it's silly, and I'm glad we can laugh at it, because we're no fooled. We've not got the blinkers on. You've not got the blinkers on. But listen, we're laughing at it because we're grown-ups and sensible people. But there are people out there terrified out of their wits, and I think that's a tragedy. I mean, there's people, and I'm not joking here, there's people who have not left their house for a year because they're so scared. They're just so scared of dying, and they won't go out of the house. Now, this government and the media industry are telling them, we'll see that thing that came from China, the sort of Kung flu that made people a bit ill. Don't worry about that. You've now got a double mutant virus coming in from Bangalore. These people are going to lose their mind, jump out a window or something. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. We are the 3%, Colette Whitney. Exactly. The people on here are the 3%, make no mistake about it. You look at the amount of folk, for example, who go to Joel Osteen's church, 50,000 every Sunday. And you look at the folk who watch, who's that fat guy I don't like in America, bald? Alex Jones. Him. Look at the amount of folk these people get watching them. Unbelievable. Because those people are the 97%. They're the sheep. They're the numbskulls. They haven't a clue. They haven't got a functioning brain thing. You have, we have, and that's why we're here. And although not a lot of folk are on this channel now, but remember, this video goes all over the world in different formulations. So there's a lot more people than we think watch it. Tens of thousands of people watch these at some point. So, you know, we're doing okay, but we're not there to convince the masses. We never had any idea of getting the masses in. We want the 3% informed. That's our job. That's what these books are doing. These books are going out by the thousands. And that's what's informing the 3%. And that's what will continue to inform the 3%. Right, we've got, yeah. Aye, I think Jones has been taking them. Is he still selling them penis tablets, the vitality tablets?
Yeah, possibly, I think
Yeah, is he? Yeah. So, we'll have a wee look. There's another one. Yeah, I mean, I got people call it COVID-19. Remember, you should call it. And I think I'm asking a minute ago. It's COVID 1984 because this is an Orwellian nightmare we're living in. It really is horrific. I mean, you try living in Britain. We're locked down. We're locked down for a year. We're going nuts. Anyway, my house has now been so tidy. There you go. A 15-year-old lad in South Wales hung himself today because he couldn't face any more lockdowns. That's just one of many. One of many. Now, I don't condone suicide. I don't really even understand it. But it's a shame. It's a tragedy. As a young boy, 15 years. I've got a boy just coming up 15. I couldn't imagine it. And his poor parents must be distraught. Distraught beyond belief. And our hearts go out to them. It's horrible. But this is the human tragedy and the human cost of this kind of nonsense. It's having a terrible thing. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. We don't need this. We don't. And by the way, how come all these illegal immigrants are still pouring into America and Britain? Nobody's bothering them if they've got coronavirus, the normal type or the double Indian mutant version. Nobody's caring their monkeys, are they? Nobody's giving a damn. It's crazy. I think we've got one more story here. What have we got? What is it?
Merkel.
Oh, Herr Angela Merkel, the Führer, the female Führer. Yeah, here we go. Ah, the Führer, Fräulein Führer. Wee moustache and do the funny walk, you know. I'm not even going to do the hand thing because that'll be used against me. That'll be in the papers tomorrow. But, here she is. What's she saying in that case? Oh, aye. So she decided to lock everybody down for Easter. But there's been such massive demonstrations and violence in Germany. People getting wired right into the police, no messing, getting stuck into them. That she's went, oh, maybe I've made a mistake. Maybe not do it now. So it is working. The people on the streets, the people pushing back, is really making the leaders think, can we sustain this without shooting the people? And they can't. So that is what's happening. That is what's happening. One of our brothers here said, Templar guard said, Merkel, the mother of all migrants. Well, I can tell you a funny story about that. There was a wee guy, I think, I don't know if he was in Hungary or on the Hungarian-Austrian border. About 500 of these migrants just walked into his village. No. They walked into his village. They'd come up through Europe, all from Syria. And they all turned up in this guy's beautiful, picturesque. It's either Hungarian, Austrians, right on the border there, Hungary, Austria. Beautiful, picturesque, chocolate box village. 500 of these people turned up. Can you imagine it? All young, fighting age men. And he said, what are you all doing here? He said, Angela, Mama Angela told us to come here. So he loaded them onto buses. He did. 10 coaches and drove them all to Angela Merkel's village and said she lives there. Go and speak to her and got them all off the buses and drove away. And they were all dumped in Angela Merkel's village. Fantastic. And by the way, they're not in her village anymore. She quickly got shot in them. Probably sent them to Britain. But that's how we're looking. So people are moving on and people are beginning to push back and they're fed up with it. We've had enough of it. And, you know, we've got to look at the figures. They're saying 120,000 people died in Britain in the last 12 months. And that is people who died after testing positive at some point in the last couple of months of COVID. But that includes people dying of cancer, people dying of natural old age, people dying of heart disease, heart attacks, people being run over by buses, people being eaten alive by spaghetti monsters, zombie apocalypse attacks, and anything else they died if they tested positive for COVID at some point. So the real figure's at the very most half of that. But here's the strange thing, and I want to give you this good news. We should have another drum roll again. Influenza has been cured in Britain and everywhere else in the world where COVID exists. Nobody died last year in Britain. The figures are normally between 40 and 60,000. The real COVID associated deaths this year, they're saying, are around about 60 to 70,000, about the same figure who normally die of flu, but nobody this year died of flu. No, nobody. So there is no spike in the overall deaths. There's a small rise in the average amount of deaths this winter to last winter. Few thousand. Nothing to talk about. And of course that will be people who cannot get their heart treatments, people who cannot get their cancer treatments, like friends of mine who have died of cancer in the last few months that could have been cured. People who have dropped dead of strokes and heart attacks, they can't get to hospital appointments, can't get to the doctor. They can't get to the doctor. They're not taking appointments. So if you take those people away, we're probably in a lower year than we were last year. And that is the reality. That is figures. That is facts, figures and statistics. So was any of this necessary? No. I don't think so. I don't think any of it was necessary, and they've called carnage in the West. Absolute carnage, and many people dead, and many people bankrupted, and businesses closed all over. You should drive through Ireland. You want to see it. The main streets are just lying as if the Germans have invaded and destroyed the whole place. It's finished. And it took us generations to build what we had up. We were very poor people. 30, 40 years ago, people were sleeping 3 and 40 a bed here. And we built something that was okay. We were beginning to get okay. Most of our people left and went to America and Canada and Australia because of the poverty here in Ireland. And we just got ourselves in a stage where we're okay. And now we're back to square one again. Because of some weird flu thing? I don't think so. It really is. It really is awful and tragic, and I'm fed up with it. I'm just fed up with it. But we have to be careful, because they're going to give you 10 years in jail if you even speak out against it. So if it's so real, you wouldn't need to tell us. If we could see the bodies in the streets, we'd keep ourselves in our houses. Mark my words. We're not stupid people, are we? But when every time I say to somebody, do you know somebody's died of COVID? They go, yeah, so I. There was a guy 3 towns over in the next county. He died of cancer. Oh, big strap man, this happened to me. I says, what was his name? Oh, his name was Sam McLennan. I says, oh, 6'4", ex-Royal Marine, strong man, died. So what age was he? Oh, it was 84. What? He was 84 and he had a triple bypass a year past. This is how stupid people are becoming. It's crazy stuff. Anyway, look, I want to show you a couple of things before we crack on here. I'm just going to read a wee bit, but I want to show you these. Look at these. Look. Remember, don't order this if you're in Australia. We can't get it into Australia. It gets refused by the customs and it gets sent back to us at a horrible expense.
They're allowed weapons.
They're allowed weapons. They're not allowed this.
Class is a dangerous item.
Aye, this is a dangerous item. Oh, and it is, I tell you. Oh, it's an ugly thing. It's fierce. I mean, this thing is solid, one piece of steel. These things are, I don't know what they are. It's just an ugly weapon, that is. But in a house invasion, that's my choice. This thing here also is pretty beautiful. It's beautiful wood with all the studs and the handles. Oh, it's beautiful, solid tip there. Spikes everywhere. Everywhere you look, spikes, and it's just a good weight. If you're getting a bit old and you've not got the strength you used to have, this is a good weight. You get this swinging. Oh wow, this is some machine. And the metal, the beautiful carbon, high carbon content, weapon grade steel is just divine. It's just beautiful to look at. It's just stunning. As is this. They are just beautiful. They're stunning. So please get your hands on these if you want. The link up there to the Armory. You can take your pick. And there's helmets and everything. We've got a huge consignment in. And of course, no man is complete. You can have all the automatic rifles you want. You can have handguns in you want. There's nothing more satisfying and manly as having a sword in your hand. This is something primeval. You know what, guys, you know what I'm talking about, guys. Women will be going, what on earth are these fellas all talking about? But I think some women get it as well, but men definitely get it. And this requires no ammunition, no license, and it never runs out of bullets. You can run out of steam, but this thing, and passing something like this to your son really means something. Passing an AR-14 to your son, look at the same thing. Passing a sword to your son. There's a bit of mysticism, and I don't know, it just is what it is. Guys, I don't have the words for it. I don't need the words for it. You know what I'm talking about. So get your swords while you can. Right, I'm going to read a wee bit today before we finish up. And I think Mr. Griffin's on tomorrow or Friday, I believe. And remember, after this show, you've got Niall McConnell on the Irish Patriots, on the Purged, and you've got Jada Franson, the British Freedom Party on Purged. I think she's got a special guest tonight. Yes. And there's a lot of stuff happening in elections. You know, I'm standing in elections in Scotland. Jade is standing in Scotland. Big Joe Finney's standing. I don't know who else is standing, but there's a few standing. And we're going to make a bit of noise up there. We're not going to win, but we need to get up there. We need to make a bit of noise, so people need to support the cause and all the rest of it. Yeah. So that's what we need. Now, I want to just go through here a wee bit. It's sort of leading on from what I was talking about yesterday. It's a chapter, page 155, called What's in a Name, okay? In a recent discussion about the need to deal with the pernicious philosophy of Ayn Rand, I mentioned Sargon of Akkad. I always like saying it on a real name, Carl Benjamin. Sargon is a favourite target of the alt-right on account of his overtly civic and pro-Zionist brand of patriotism. The Templars complete the list of his errors by adding his atheism and libertarianism to that. And there is another dangerous error into which Sargon of Akkad and most of the alt-right critics alike tend to lead sincere but inexperienced young nationalists and patriots. That is hiding behind pseudonyms. It's lunacy. This is why I try and discourage it. This may be at first sight be maybe a very minor failing, but it is in fact a very dangerous one. There are, of course, certain circumstances when the use of an assumed nom de gras is justified and maybe even unavoidable. Yes, there are times when you have to use, a bit of subterfuge to get, you don't wipe your name out. For example, for a whistleblower, for an individual in a high-level job who has something worth saying in print and who also uses some of his above-average income to help fund a good nationalist project. For someone so demonised by the mainstream media that they have to have his name attached to be useful would be no useful purpose really, and the article would be stillborn. For someone with a message so seditious in the eyes of the ruling elites and so badly needed by the people that it has to be said anonymously in order to preserve his freedom and to keep promoting the message. All of these things are valid, but there's very few people who use pseudonyms are in any of those categories, to be honest. But such people and circumstances are very, very rare. The majority of those using pseudonyms do so because they want to hide, not for any legitimate reason, but because they are cowards. There you go, I've said it. They want to talk big and extreme, but they're not willing to take responsibility for what they have to say. It's not a matter of evading legal sanctions for comments regarding regarded by our liberal masters as hate speech. Enough people in their immediate circles know them by their real names to ensure that the state knows already who they are, because far-right circles are riddled with agents and informers. In any case, if they want to say something that the powers that be didn't really want said, they would be very quickly tracked down and have their doors kicked in early one morning. If not through their IP address, but simply because all but the most amateur of them have monetised their descent and can be traced simply through donating a fiver to them. As a matter of fact, the state and its far-left allies who do most of the monitoring and control the online radicals very often happy to let the noisiest self-proclaimed Nazis and the crudest racists amongst them run. The far left like such opponents because they are the easiest to put in a box and mark toxic and to keep isolated in their own insignificant little ghetto. The security services, in addition, use such loudmouths as flypaper to attract and entrap silly, angry or autistic young men. By setting the bad example of using pseudonyms, these Judas goats encourage naive and unwary followers to say and write stupid things themselves. Like the groomers they are, these creeps set up private chat rooms in which they snigger and giggle as the daft kids get in the habit of using the N-word and the K-word and various other racist tags, all of which is harmless fun until, like the fools who ignored the Templars' prior warning about these things, National Action and Charlottesville, have the front doors kicked in at dawn and they get carted off to prison. Because that happened, folks. The people we warned, we specifically warned these people what was going on and that there's no chat room safe. They will all get arrested, they all get took to prison, and they were all in court, and all their so-called secret, encoded, and dark web conversations were all played before the court. That's it. Whatever the impact of their chatter or foolish followers, most of the middle-class dissidents who podcast and chatter from behind childish pseudonyms are, needless to say, clever enough to stay just within the law. They broadcast their turgid, over-intellectual waffling without fear of arrest or prosecution. They are not hiding from the thought police, but from the social opprobrium that goes with having politically incorrect views. Very often, this is because despite being in their 30s or 40s, they are still lonely bachelors with personal hygiene issues that only a mother could love, which is why they're still living at home and hiding their outspoken views from everyone, including their parents. There are many other reasons, but they are not legitimate ones. My children would be bullied at school if people knew it was me writing this stuff. No, there are either teach them to fight, stand up for themselves at school, or homeschool them. Other people say, I'd lose my job. Since you spend all your salary on renting a penthouse or some other place that you don't really need anyway, than rearing a family, what use is your job? Other excuses are, I'm working my way up to the top. Yeah, whatever. Bye. See you later. You're no good to us. Then we come to the reasons why every young working class podcaster, lads with no assets to lose, no family to consider, and no bourgeois friends to lose, so often hide behind fake names. They're on the dole, but they're asking for and receiving donations. Just as tawdry and as cynical as that. I'm going to mark that there because we'll continue with this. And I'll just put my bookmark in it if you don't mind. But there we go. So I always question people who use fake names. And if you're using a fake name because you're frightened in case the lefties find out who you are and come around and beat you up, you shouldn't be on this channel. We are the Templars. We're frightened of nobody and we don't mind a good dust up. It's okay. And if you're not one of us, you shouldn't be on here. It's as simple as that. I'm only a wee fella. I'm a wee fella. Wrong end of 50, wearing glasses, frightened of nobody. Tackle anybody. No problem, because I've the Lord on my side and I'm an Ulster Scotch-Irish, so we don't have that problem. We're frightened of nobody. But don't be frightened. They've only got this thing to try and frighten you because it's the fear of the unknown. Just get it out and done with and let the world know your opinions and your views. If your views are, if you're a mad person and you're shouting and bawling about Adolf Hitler and all the rest of it, well, which a lot of people do, very few people ever do that in their own name. My father always said, be a man. Say what you mean what you say, and stand over it. Stand over what you say. You can't do that with a pseudonym. So, use your own names, folks. And thank goodness everybody does. He's Donald Pollock's the crazy Scottish uncle. Yes, so am I. There's quite a lot of us. Honesty's the best policy. We've got women on here. Women folk who use their own name. Women people. And men people are frightened to. Away with you, man. Get a grip of yourself. But anyway, very few people do that on our site, and I'm glad of that. And we don't get the crackpots and the crazies and the trolls in. That's what it does. It keeps a clean site. So God bless you all again, just for being you and being good, solid, upstanding, brave and bold patriots. You're the best. That's all we've got today. I think Mr. Griffin's coming on tomorrow. Tomorrow or Friday. Let's get him on tomorrow, eh? Let's get him on tomorrow, because I know Friday's sometimes a crazy day. We'll get Mr. Griffin on tomorrow, so that'll be good. And we'll see him then and see what else has been spoken about. Again, our thoughts and prayers to the good people of America there in Colorado who were victims of that mentally ill chap, fine American patriot, who went mad with a gun. And I notice Biden's not saying, why don't we stop these people from getting guns or coming in, but rather take the gun. A gun is a piece of metal, plastic and wood. It has no thoughts, it has no politics, it has no remorse, and it has no joy. It's just a piece of metal. It's a machine. And it's only when bad men pick them up and kill people, good people, it becomes a problem. To ban an inanimate object is utterly preposterous. But no more preposterous than anything else the Democrats and the Liberals and the lefties come out with, so we shouldn't be surprised. That's all from me. God bless each and every one of you. Have a lovely day, whatever time it is. Have a lovely day, morning, afternoon, night, whatever it is. And in the will of the Lord, I'll be back tomorrow with Mr. Griff as a special guest. And until then, remember, stick close to God. You won't go far wrong. Deus Volt.